Brooklyn Park's largest apartment complex will receive state funds thanks to housing legislation passed this session. The Huntington Place apartments will receive a $10 million grant.
Huntington Place, like all the different apartment communities in Brooklyn Park that were built in the 60s, they require constant reinvestment, just like a single family home. You constantly have to be reinvesting in your place of living. So we expect that of all our apartment communities.
The nonprofit Aon owns Huntington Place apartments. They bought the property in 2020 with a pledge to keep it affordable. Residents have complained about poor living conditions at the complex for many years. Officials from Aon said the new funding will be used to make improvements on the property. With the state finalizing spending criteria, they won't have specific plans for a few weeks.
It's great to see the state come to the table with some resources to make sure that that community remains stable in Brooklyn Park.
Brooklyn Park Police Chief Mark Bruley recently told City Council that crime is down at Huntington Place this year. Part of a bill state lawmakers passed this year will provide tax rebates for those who purchase e-bikes. We talked with one bike store operator to find out how this works and why she thinks it will make sales surge. Hey! Pam Saylor says it doesn't take much to get someone onto an e-bike.
It's class 1, 20-mile-an-hour governor. Very easy to use. Just turn it on. It goes in automatic mode and I can take off.
Electric bikes are everywhere and riders use them for recreation or daily commutes.
It's easier to operate. It's less effort to ride. E-bikes flatten the hills and take the wind away. But also if you're running errands, you might be carrying a certain amount of weight with you or pulling a trailer. And an electric bike makes that much more convenient for you, the rider.
Now some customers can get a tax rebate of up to $1,500 when they buy an e-bike, starting next year, that is.
There is verbiage in the bill that indicates that this program won't start until July 1 of 2024. There's a limited amount of dollars available, and once those dollars are used up, either before July of 2026 or the dollars are used up, that's when the program expires.
And it's not like you get a discount on the bike, which can cost anywhere from $2,000 to $5,000 a piece.
At this point, the rebate is in a form of a credit from the state of Minnesota. You do have to apply for a certificate to show that you're eligible for a rebate. Then you have to submit a legitimate invoice or receipt showing that you purchased the bike in order to be eligible for that rebate.
But Trailhead Cycling expects this will only increase its sales of e-bikes at its stores in Plymouth and Champlin.
We have such a great infrastructure of bike trails and connectivity in this state that this is just going to align with that infrastructure and encourage more people to get out on their bikes to run their daily errands.
Saylor said the pot of money the state set aside for the program is only about $4 million, and she thinks that will go quickly. Maple Grove has received plans for a significant development along Interstate 94. Minneapolis-based Ryan Companies submitted a plan to build a science and technology center. The plan calls for redeveloping nearly 50 acres of gravel mining property along the interstate highway. It would make way for a 400,000 square foot multi-story office building with research and development labs. City planning documents showed the project would be, quote, completely in line with the city's vision for that site. In a split vote, Plymouth City Council moved ahead with plans for a road rebuild project. The project is near Bass Lake Road and Highway 169. The city will rebuild parts of Nathan Lane and other residential streets over the next year. The project will cost $3.5 million, with special assessments covering around $800,000 of that total. Some folks who live on private roads near the project oppose the assessment. They say it's unfair to pay when they already foot the bill for private roads. City Council voted 4-2 to approve the assessment, but they do plan to review that policy in the future. Beauty trends may come and go, but make no mistake, the beauty industry is a billion-dollar business. And as Delane Cleveland reports in this week's edition of Business Matters, there's an emerging industry that helps to fix some of the mistakes of a bygone era.
I do a lot of different services.
Erica Waldusky is a busy woman. On any given day, this permanent makeup artist will see multiple clients.
So we are going to get your numbing started right away.
Each of whom are on a mission to improve their look.
Perfect.
Dana Grams of Champlin is one of those clients. And today, she's officially saying goodbye to a beauty trend from the 1990s.
Oh, in the 90s, it was like the very thin, like pencil eyebrows. So you basically plucked them down to like a line. not thinking, oh, I'll probably want these back later.
Grams is one of thousands of people to make their way to Infinite Beauty Permanent Makeup in Brooklyn Park to have their eyebrows filled in
You can come on back if you want.
using a procedure known as microblading.
Microblading, basically we are creating a hair-like stroke. So we are looking to resemble real hair strokes. So it's a very natural form of permanent makeup. Have you open again?
The idea is that a fuller eyebrow will give people a more youthful appearance, and it's her job to help clients achieve that look.
I would say majority of my clients walk through the door and they're like, I overplucked them in the 90s and they never grew back, and job security, I guess.
Usually like a medium brown.
Okay.
After numbing the brows,
We'll do a full microblade.
Erica takes measurements of Dana's facial features and bone structure to create a natural shape and an outline of what the brows will look like. After Dana approves the shape, Erica uses a handheld tool to carefully draw on her new eyebrows, line by line.
So we're gonna add a little bit of shading in there.
The entire process takes about an hour to complete.
Oh my goodness.
And once it's all said and
I have
done,
a brow.
Doesn't that look
It looks so good.
the big reveal.
Oh my gosh, it turned out way better than I thought.
The end result is a natural-looking pair of eyebrows and one satisfied client.
It's super rewarding, and yeah, that's the best part about my job.
In Brooklyn Park, Delane Cleveland,
Oh my, they look so good.
CCX News.
May not be cheap or affordable for some folks. A microblading session can cost up to $800. The effects wear off over time, so clients are asked to come back for touch-ups every few years.
Top seed Hopkins advanced to the final round of the Section 6 4A softball tournament with a win over Armstrong late last week. The Falcons then beat Wayzata in the losers bracket to earn another shot at Hopkins. The Falcons needing 2 wins to take the section title. The Royals just won in the double elimination tournament. Third inning of a scoreless game, Hopkins' Signe Dose singles to center field. Emily Cannett scores from third base, and the Royals lead 1-0. They'd add another in the fourth. Lola Jessen drives the ball to the fence in right center field. She checks into second base with a double. The Royals would later score on a groundout to make it 2-0. Good defense for Hopkins this day, too. Violet Dupree-Hebert with a nice running catch on the slicing liner to take away a Falcons hit. Armstrong does, however, push across a run in the sixth. Lauren Jones blasts one to deep left field that goes for extra bases. Ella Cooley scores on the Jones double, and it's 2-1. But the Falcons wouldn't score again, and Hopkins pitcher Dose gets a strikeout to end the game. The Royals beat the Falcons and are headed back to the state tournament.
It means a lot. I mean, the number 3 going back to state for the 3rd year in a row is really awesome, I think. This team is just really fun. I'm glad to be a part of this team. It's really fun.
Spots in the state golf tournament are up for grabs this week at section competition. Jay Wilcox has highlights from the Section 5 3A boys tournament.
David Miller of Maple Grove tees off in the Section 5 3A boys golf round 1 at Bunker Hills. Blake Forrest of Maple Grove rolls home the birdie putt on West number 1. He shoots a 76 in round 1 and follows it with a 77. Champlin Park's Brian Terhar is right on target with the long birdie putt on West 4. He has a 78 and follows with a sizzling 70 to place in a tie for 7th to qualify for state. Kagan Kohler of Maple Grove sinks the short birdie after a great tee shot on West 3. He records a 73 in round 1 and places in a tie for 3rd. Jack Schrader of the Crimson reads this putt very well and sinks it for birdie on West 1. He shoots a 77 followed by a 74 to place 12th. Later in the round, Gavin Grahek of Maple Grove nails the birdie on West 8 on his way to an even par 72. He ties for 10th overall. And shots like this birdie on West 3 make Ryan Stendhal of the Crimson the section champion with rounds of 71 and 68. Maple Grove wins the section team title. Jay Wilcox, CCX Sports.
Summer isn't officially here, but it's our kickoff to summer with the start of Terry Tuma's 33rd year of fishing tips here on our station. Here's Terry.
Welcome to another series of open water fishing tips right here on CCX Media. this summer, this open water period, I'm going to try to answer many questions that have been asked, especially recently. And the first is going to be a question of what is a wacky worm and how do you fish it? A wacky worm is really a finesse type of lure. Generally speaking, I'll use a 5-inch, but 4 and 6 inches are not uncommon. And all you do is get a wacky worm hook and just place that hook in the center. And why this is such a good finesse lure is that it falls very slow, and so it'd be just hooking exactly like this. You cast it out and you just let her flutter down, if you will. Generally speaking, the bass will hit on the bottom or on the way to the bottom. But also too, if not, you can just retrieve it slow with a lift and drop, dead sticking it. Now, if you have a lot of wind, if you've got real aggressive fish, then go to a wacky worm jig hooked exactly in the same fashion. So those are both very productive. And one thing I should mention, use a spinning rod with fluorocarbon test pound line, and also a little bit of a stiffer tip on that rod that you're using.
Find more prep sports games and highlights at ccxmedia.org and follow us on social media.